I think time is the greatest challenge for me. Time, and like gravity, it's unavoidable. So that, the other things that are, these sort of hurdles that you go through in life, loss, pain, accomplishment, getting from A to B, decision making, doubts and fears. Those are kind of they're part of the territory with existence. But the things that are to me, the biggest hurdle is time, and that I'm going to run out of it at some point. And it's unavoidable. And that, to me, is the biggest challenge, is being able to accomplish the things that I would like to accomplish in the amount of time that I'll be given.
Being able to sing in front of an audience. I've always surrounded myself with great singers, whether it was in Alive and Kickin' with Sandy Toder and Pepe, whether it was Brooklyn Dreams with Joe Bean Esposito and Eddie Hoganson, or whether it was with, Donna, great singers. So my biggest fear was singing on my own and just hating the way I sounded. But what I've done with that too is I've learned to accept the challenge and to just put it as something that, you can get better at. I was always able to connect emotionally. But sonically and control-wise, I had a ways to go, and I still have a ways to go, but it's good to have a ways to go.
Haven't overcome fear. Well, I wasn't afraid to come here. Maybe I had. Well, maybe the financial challenges, because nothing's guaranteed. Whether you want to or not, you have to be your own agent. So you have to learn how to merchandise and market yourself in various ways that maybe don't seem that every time you're there, it's an audition, really. And you have to start to think outside of just being an artist. It's so comfortable just to daydream of, if I had a voice like it, then you have to start being jealous of other people who sing better than you. That was a great challenge. Haven't met that one yet. But those are the basic ones, because if you can, at least don't let them overwhelm you, then you can continue to critique yourself. You've got to be able to do that. I mean, only lately do I look at some of my old footage, and I couldn't stand to see myself. Who said I can't stand myself? No, but you have to be able to overcome yourself, really, and look at what's wrong, but still love yourself and see if you can fix it. I think it's the greatest challenge, because it's an ongoing thing, and it's very, very basic to a whole life. Yeah. So it can't be just about your work, but your work can be a tool to honing integrity. Why are you doing something? So, like, you make the choices too, what you're going to do, and what you don't want to, what you must not do. I think that's the biggest one. And then you can, within that scope, say, well, some things you can't say no to, so how are you going to work within that? And then within that framework, how am I going to create?
I eat, sleep, drink music or creative ideas. It's everything. It is who I am, because I started so young. It has taught me a very strong balance. That one is your life, and one is your work. And don't get it twisted. And I think what I mean by that is, I remember early days, what people don't know is I had these 3 or 4 hits way before we were family, when I was a kid, and we would always travel to Europe. We had #1 records in Japan and in Europe and in England. And I would literally go and work for these huge concerts and then get on the bus, come home, get on the bus and go to school. And it was really like a real life Hannah Montana. And my friends would ask, what did you do this weekend? And I used to feel very excited when they would first ask, oh, I did a concert in Japan. You know, one friend might say, I went to the mall, or I went to the movies, you know, I visited my grandpa, whatever. And I'd come out with, I was in England. So what I learned early on, and it would just get quiet, like, yeah, sure, either you're lying or you're bragging. But on a serious note, what it did, I started saying early on, I had to work. I never went into it. But what it did do is it made me realize the balance of that is, this is your work. You love your work. I'm blessed to be able to do what I love. But I think it really gave me a balance of, one is your life and one is your work. And your life always comes first. And to have that balance in being in this business, it's crucial. Because I think that's what happens with a lot of artists. They start living for that front page. And, you know, you just have to live for you. And if it's music that you love, and if that's what I do, and I do well with it, you know, all the other things come along with that. But you can't live for it.
There are daily challenges. But because of the coronavirus, because we are experiencing this moratorium of art right now, the challenge that has a lasting residue, the challenge that lingers in the atmosphere, if you will, is the storytelling sensibility that I brought to Hermes in Hadestown. 51 years in this industry, and more often than not, and certainly when I arrived in New York and Warp was finished, and Rachel Lily Rosenblum and Don't You Ever Forget It was finished, and I was in the process of going before casting directors, I got asked 2 questions. Can you dance? Can you sing? Although I came to New York as an actor, the questions they asked me, can you dance? Can you sing? Now, my interior response was, what? Am I black? Of course I can dance and sing. No, I didn't study at Albinelli, at Juilliard. No, I didn't study. But I grew up in the streets of Baltimore, so I can throw down. But what I now understand is I was bringing something totally idiosyncratic to the palette, to what they like to call the tabula rasa. They had never seen this on the blank slate before. And when I realized that that was my edge, I kept honing it. I kept sharpening it. Which is why in 3 shows, The Wiz, Ain't Misbehavin', and Play On. Play On was my first Tony nomination. When I was no longer associated with the show, dancers were hired in my role. And it's like, no. I'm not dancing. I'm acting as if I'm a dancer. So you must hire an actor who can do that, not a dancer who can't act his way across the street, you know. And I'm not talking about any specific person. I'm just talking about the discipline. Because I'm not a dancer. I know, I shouldn't say that. But I didn't break my bank account or my bones learning how to développer or tour jeté or homme de jambe. I didn't do that. I did the boogaloo. I did the slop. I did the stroll. You know. But they had trained that out of everybody else.
I think with the passing of Nick, the challenge to just see if I had a singular identity that would stand. If I could write a whole song, not half the song. You know, that was a challenge. And so finding out that now I can, it tickles me that I didn't endeavor to do it before. It's like I was content because he was such a fine lyricist. So I didn't even try to turn that part of my brain on. And now I realize there really is something there, you know, and I should have been doing, I didn't have to, you know, compete with him, but I certainly could have written more lyric than I did. I'm just much more fearless now and sure of who I am and what I've accomplished and what I hope to accomplish, you know, because there's still quite a few things. And I think being in this period also has clearly shown me that there's more to be done, you know. The world is hurting, you know, and somebody got to say something that means something, that touches somebody, that catapults us out of this place that we're in, which is nowhere, you know. And I said, Lord, you know, if you give it to me, I'll say it, you know, I'll put it out there, you know, and I don't know who's going to say it or how it's to be said, but I want to be that open vessel.
I would have to say my redemption from addiction, you know, because it happened later in my career, and that's why I can't even really remember a lot of the things that took place in detail before the 80s, because I was in a blur. And I was probably a little overwhelmed by all of it that happened to me because I wasn't expecting all that. It's not like today's artists that are grooming themselves to be stars and they've been studying this since they were little kids. That wasn't who I am, you know. I was just trying to have a job and support my kids, and I could sing a little bit, so I went for it. And this happened to me. So I was trying to balance it out and wasn't sure of how to do it. I just wanted to fit in. And during the 60s and early 70s, everybody was doing cocaine and drinking and smoking. And so I, you know, being a preacher's daughter and told not to do stuff all my life, I thought, okay, I want to be like them. They seem like they're having a good time. I want to have a good time too. But after that, having gotten clean from it and my life today, I see things so differently. I look forward to going to work. My thinking is so much clearer than it ever was before. And so I guess between the years of getting older and more mature and thinking back on times, you know, people say I wouldn't change anything. Well, I damn sure would change some things. You know, I don't know why not, if I could. You know, those are the things that interest me, and it's kind of sparked my curiosity about my life going forward, is things that never interested me before. Now all of a sudden I'm looking at certain events and even people in a different way.
I think the greatest challenge was to get over the fear of rejection. It was the thing about realizing that no matter whether you won the audition or whether you got the shot or whether you got the record deal or whether you got whatever, didn't always have anything to do with whether or not you were good enough. It could just be the way that the planets were aligning. It could be the way that maybe you were just not right for this. I'm just glad that everything that was right for me, I think I got. You know what I'm saying? To have a career where you've come into contact with so many people that you love and so much music you love, and just and to get the respect from people that know what they're talking about. The thing about being a background singer that people don't understand, it's not by default. Background singing is a skill. Most of your lead singers cannot harmonize, cannot sing with the precision, cannot sing in unison or do the fall offs and so on and so. It's a skill that most people don't have. So the thing is, it was never a default thing. And you know what? My career as a side person and as a session person is the reason that I'm sitting here today, along with all the other things that I've done as a solo artist, as a writer, and that kind of stuff. But the jewel in my crown has really been that, you know, y'all should call Fonzi because he knows how to do this. And I made a conscious choice to say, you know what, there's my spot right there. I could make that work. That was one of my challenges, to get to realize that I was good enough, no matter what I did, because I had worked hard enough and worked seriously enough that whatever I did was as long as you did your best, that's all you could be responsible for.